Good evening and welcome to Sunset News this Friday evening. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather, and sports. I am Glenora Shipura. In the news tonight, Hope Initiative of Southern Africa in Namibia yesterday concluded their GBV project that started in 2020 to 2023, which was aimed at curbing and combating GBV and violence and empowering women and children in Khomas, Oshadonjipa, and other Namibian regions by empowering communities, men and boys, to be human rights defenders and change agents. They also launched their new project aimed at supporting community-led youth and women CSOs and informal settlement action groups/consortiums in peri-urban and rural settlements of Namibia's Khomas, Oshadonjipa, and Omusati regions in upholding and promoting an enabling environment to engage in gender equality and youth inclusion. Now, Deputy Head of the EU delegation, Kosia Lashut, spoke on the success. Junior Kapofi reports.
The one that we are closing today has been a real flagship project for the European Union here in Namibia in supporting the fight against GBV. Your activities strengthened violence prevention systems in informal settlements, empowered and gave new hope to women, and as we see, involved all the relevant stakeholders, including the city police, councillors, and of course the faith-based organizations. And at the same time, your initiative also enabled men and boys to become defenders and agents of change. So congratulations for everything you have achieved and for supporting some of the most vulnerable members of the Namibian society. Congratulations to the entire community and of course HISA team. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, violence against women and children is a structural and a global phenomenon that knows no social, economic, or national boundaries. It is a serious violation of human rights, the most drastic form of discrimination, and unfortunately, it remains widely unsanctioned. Every day in Namibia, and we can read it in any newspaper, women and children, but also men, to far lesser extent, at least it is recorded, are psychologically, physically and sexually abused. Most of the time in the safety of their own homes. The European Union will keep on working tirelessly with its partners across the world to strengthen legal frameworks and institutions to promote women empowerment and to combat gender-based violence.
Now, Walvis Bay took a significant step in bolstering the safety of its community members with the inauguration of the newly constructed Tutaleni police station. Located strategically in the heart of Kesimund Walvis Bay, the brand new police station was constructed for $127 million Namibian and boasts several notable features that will aid the police force in their daily operations. It consists of spacious and well-equipped offices for officers, dedicated interrogation rooms, a modern control room for efficient communication and monitoring, and a state-of-the-art forensic laboratory to aid in criminal investigations. Tutaleni Police Station is equipped with cutting-edge technology and modern facilities aimed at improving operational efficiency and facilitating a more responsive policing approach. This includes advanced surveillance systems, including CCTV cameras to enhance security in the surrounding areas. The facility accommodates a charge office, 8 holding cells, 23 offices, 2 blocks of barrack with a total of 40 bedrooms, garages, an open plain lounge, dining and kitchen area, parade grounds, and a petrol station with a wash bay. The construction of the station was part of a comprehensive plan to enhance law enforcement capabilities, ensuring a safer environment for residents and visitors alike. Speaking at the inauguration ceremony, Albert Kawana, the Minister of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security, said that the Tutaleni police station will not only add value to the day-to-day security of surrounding communities, but will contribute to the infrastructural map of the Erongo region. The existence of police stations alone does not mean anything if they are not supported by a sufficient number of police officers whose conduct is beyond reproach and fully devoted to their careers. Now, in our next story, with the hope of empowering farmers to make sure their production is not wasted, the World Food Programme partnered with the University of Namibia to train rural farmers with skills to engage in income-generating activities by adding value to readily available local natural resources. Now, the training, which started on Wednesday at the Ongwediva Agro Marketing Trade Agency Fresh Hub and will end on Friday, is being done to reap economic benefits from farmers to ensure food security. About 34 women are taking part in the training. Dr. Penny Hiwilepo van Gaal, a senior lecturer at UNAM Food Science and Systems, said the aim is to make sure all the fresh produce is not wasted. Hiwilepo van Gaal also said that as part of its social responsibility, the university also hopes to impart knowledge to those who do not make it to university. We want to transfer knowledge from UNAM back to the community, as they are always left out, especially those who do not qualify to make it to the university. Now, one of the key things is to see what the communities have available at their disposal and what they produce. We have selected butternut, spinach, onions, and tomatoes, she said. Hiwilepo van Gaal explained that for the butternut, they dry it and produce butternut flakes and powder. The powder can be used in different ways and even make baby food. For onions, we are also drying it and make small flakes or powder which can be incorporated in spices that you can sprinkle over your food as you cook, she said, adding that for spinach, they blanch it and dry it. Hiwilepo van Gaal also said in the long term, they want to make sure farmers can promote their products during trade fairs and business expos. In light of the current climatic change whereby drought seasons come and go while prevalent in some areas, the training program will allow households to survive these harsh conditions. So far, the training took place in Zambezi region, and Oshikoto region is up next. She said if the demand is high, they will extend it to other regions. Joan Pashu, Bohamba Program Policy Officer, Biotechnology and Food Fortification Officer for WFP, said this is a pilot project and once off due to the issue of post-harvest loss in the country. Bohamba said about 24% of Namibia's annual food production is lost or wasted, which strains the nation's food security and increases malnutrition. In our Story of the Day segment, Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, in conjunction with the Namibia Training Authority and the Namibia National Association of the Deaf, this week launched a sign language interpreters training. We get into the story on the other side of the break.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Getting into our story of the day, Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, in conjunction with the Namibia Training Authority and the Namibia National Association of the Deaf, this week launched a sign language interpreters training supported by the South African Language Interpreters National Center. The training, facilitated by South African International Sign Language Interpreter Thelma Kotse, started on the 19th of June and will conclude on the 28th of June with 30 participants from across Namibia. Director of the Namibia National Association of the Deaf, Paul Nanyeni, highlighted the importance of training such as these and expressed gratitude for the growing interest of local sign language interpreters to improve their skill. Let's take a look.
I wonder if I can ask that the two of you swap around, otherwise not everybody can see you signing. Thank you. Lovely.
Greetings, my name is Paul Nanyeni. I'm the director for the Namibia National Association of the Deaf, and I would like to explain a little bit about the training that's happening. It started on the 19th of June, and we see that the sign language training is really improving, and we see a lot of participants are partaking in this, and we are happy and we hope that when this training finishes, we'll be able to help our deaf members to have full access to everything. So this sign language training is a responsibility of NNAD, in which terms we see that we lack a number of information, like for the deaf to enter, whether the VTC educations or the hospital, and they are not well equipped. So the training will help them to refine their skills in signing, which will help the deaf to have access to everything. When they have to apply or they need support on different things, we would also like to thank NTA for the support they've given, as well as Thelma Kotze, the sign language interpreter from South Africa, who's training our interpreters to become skilled and professional interpreters so that we can be on the same level as the international interpreters. So we hope that they'll continue and develop their skills in signing. What is the importance of this training? Well, countrywide, we've got 13 regions. Some are far in the north, in the west, in the east. However, the interpreters are few. They are not enough. So the deaf people in the north, in Novamboland, in Rundu, or wherever, they need interpreters. They sometimes have to come to Windhoek, which is not fair. So it will be nice for them to remain in their regions and then have interpreters there. The Namibian government has already signed the UN Charter, Convention of Rights, which is a good thing. But now we want them to have full access and Namibia to follow that UN Charter that they have signed or UN Convention that they have signed when it comes to services for disabled people, for the deaf, and for everybody. So access to information will be very much important. Thank you very much.
Since the beginning of this training program, it has become very apparent that there is a huge hunger for information from the Namibian Sign Language interpreters. They are tasked to interpret for the deaf community, yet they don't always have the right information and they don't have the correct tools to be interpreters that are professional and that know how to work accurately from English into Namibian Sign Language. So that is why this training is so important. And I really hope that it's a possibility for these Namibian Sign Language interpreters to have learned from this experience, to take it forward, and perhaps let's have one or two at least of them who can continue the training in future.
Up next is our community talk. Just stay tuned. Joachim von Wittersheim, one of the organizers of the Kuska Festival, speaks about the first night of the festival and what is expected from the festival for the coming days. Desregasses reports.
Yes, welcome to the Kuska. My name is Joachim von Wittersheim. I'm a member of the Elberrat, or the Council of 11, how we call it, that you can see by the cap I wear. We are the main organizing committee, or sort of the executive of the Swakopmunda Karnevalsverein, the Kuska. We have, of course, two more committees and a lot of helpers, and only together we can put this event on stage. Tonight we start off in our so-called carnival season with the Royal Ball, the Prinsenball, where the new royal couple for the season 2023-2024 will be revealed and presented. They will be honored by a visit of our mayoress of Swakopmund, handed over the key of the town as a symbol that they are ruling now, at least for the carnival week. Then tonight we have some dances, we will have some short speeches, and then a bit of a protocol, the handover to the new royal couple, the mayoress will come on stage, there will be gifts exchange and so on. So today is a bit more protocol. Tomorrow, on Friday, we have our international evening, so the program is in English and Afrikaans. And there we will have more speeches, humorous talks, some dances, and that will be a more fun-filled program, less protocol attached, because Carnival is about having fun, laughing, just enjoying, having a good time, and forgetting a bit about the sorrows of the day. So we are very much looking forward to that. Yes, and from on Sunday we will have the Children's Carnival here in the same venue, Haus der Jugend. It's for the little ones, chance to dress up and have some fun. Then the next week will be filled with more of the evenings, which I mentioned. And the big thing, of course, for Swakopmund is the float procession on Saturday, the 1st July. We'll start at 11:11, a very carnivalistic number, and move through town with decorated wagons, with the Garde marching, with the Navy Band marching. It's always a nice thing to see, so Swakopmunders should come to town and see. And from there we move to the SFC Sports Club for what we call the Care House, so that's the conclusion of the festivities. The dances will be presented, we'll have a brief program, and then just some fun-filled afternoon, good event for the family to come. The small kids will also dance, and so it's just a nice conclusion to the whole 10 days of Carnival.
Okay, every year has a different theme, right? What is this year's theme?
That is correct. Our theme this year in German is Was ist schon normal? Roughly translated to English, what is actually normal? So we came a bit from the COVID side, the new normal, are we back to normal as before? What is actually normal, we asked ourselves. Of course, with a bit of a humorous touch. We are not normal during Carnival, we do a crazy festivity, we do stuff just for the fun of it. So yes, that is our theme this year.
Economic news coming up shortly. Midco sold 590 tons more beef and increased its revenue by $113 million compared to the previous year. This is according to Midco's new annual report, which was released today at its annual general meeting for the financial period of the 1st of February 2022 to the 31st of January 2023. For the period under review, Midco injected a value of $1 billion to various stakeholders, the report said. The report provides information on governance, strategies, performance, and prospects while providing an overview of key developments in the business for the period under review. Robust efforts were put in place during the current reporting term to turn the business towards its vision and realizing its strategic objectives, according to the report. The value paid to producers amounted to 73%, employee costs 22%, suppliers 30%, and finance charges 8%. Let's take a look at our financial indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 23.28, against the euro at 19.95, and $2.55 gets you 1 Chinese yuan. Gold and copper went down while platinum and Brent crude oil gold and copper went up while platinum and Brent crude oil went down. Brent crude oil trading at 0.97%, going for $73.79 per barrel. After the break, we get into your international news. Do stay tuned. Getting into our international news, Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema and South African President Cyril Ramaphosa highlighted earlier today the importance of peace investment and equitable partnership in addressing global challenges during a finance summit attended by world leaders in Paris. Speaking on the final panel of the two-day summit, Hichilema underscored the significance of maintaining global peace and stability, adding that instability anywhere is instability everywhere. At the summit, wealthy nations finalized an overdue $100 billion climate finance pledge to developing countries and created a fund for biodiversity and the production of forests. Ramaphosa further highlighted the challenges faced by African nations, remembering the frustration the continent's nations had in accessing vaccines during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, both leaders spoke on the importance of Africa's self-reliance and equal treatment on the global stage.
We cannot achieve what we want to achieve if we allow our global community to focus time, resources, everything, technology, on conflict. I think there's a duty for us all to keep our individual countries peaceful, out of conflict, and not export instability to other countries, neighboring or far away. As we now know, instability anywhere is instability everywhere. Lastly, I simply want to indicate that it is important, President Macron, that we look at deliberately investing in extraction, critical minerals, for example, in value-adding these minerals in country. Obviously, that will help the growth side of the GDP, create jobs, business opportunities for the transactional chain in there, if I may call it that. So I think this must be deliberate as well. Rather than generic discussions, we must dive deep into the envelope and begin to say, these are requirements, these are needs, these are minimums.
I played a key role as chair of the African Union during the COVID period. We felt like we were beggars when it came to vaccine availability. When we felt we needed access to vaccines, and the Northern Hemisphere countries had bought all the vaccines in the world, and they were hogging them. And they didn't want to release them at the time when we needed them most. And we felt like we were begging. And at times it felt like they would just be droppings from the table, that yes, we will give you that and that. And let me tell you something that generated a lot of resentment.
A gente pode ter clima muito bom e o povo continuar morrendo de fome em vários.
We were all at one that even as we were going to address an issue of the war which has had a negative impact on the African continent, which is the rise in prices for food, rise in prices for fertilizers, we were clear that we are not going there as beggars. We are not going to ask for a favor to both Ukraine and Russia. We were going there to say, open up the Black Sea Channel so that the grains and the fertilizers should go into the world market. So we were not on a begging mission, even as we are in great need as a continent and all that. That should go to demonstrate that Africa should never be seen as a continent that needs generosity. We want to be treated as equals.
Let's get into the weather predictions for tomorrow. In the north, we can expect maximum temperatures ranging from 26 degrees Celsius to 29 degrees Celsius, with minimum temperatures ranging from 9 degrees to 13 degrees. In the central, maximum temperatures range from 22 degrees to 27 degrees, with minimum temperatures ranging from 8 degrees to 13 degrees. In the south, maximum temperatures range from 24 degrees to 27 degrees, with minimum temperatures ranging from 9 degrees to 13 degrees. And the coast, maximum temperatures range from 15 degrees to 21 degrees, with minimum temperatures ranging from 10 to 13 degrees. We'll now head over to the sports desk, proudly brought to you by Sports Rep on the other side of this. Let's get into your sports news.
Well, good evening, viewers. This evening on Sunset News, brought to you by Sports Rep, Namibia's under-16 rugby national team ahead of their departure to the Grand Como Week, set to take place from the 25th to the 30th of June. It will be held at Land Boland in Paarl, South Africa. The competition will see 23 athletes take part, accompanied by the head coach John Dames, as you can see, the forward coach Mornay Rust, backline coach Divano Aklock, and the team manager Rialdo van Wyk. They were sponsored by Pupkowitz, Megabuild, Awas Motors, and Suzuki Momentum Retirement Fund Solutions, Walvis Bay, Shandels, just to mention but a few. Well, the second round of the Namibia Rugby Premier League commences tomorrow, with the title race still wide open and some interesting top of the log clashes to be installed for there. So we look forward to having a fantastic weekend when it comes to rugby. The director of the rugby and the head coach of the national rugby team, Alistair Coetzee, spoke recently about the preparations of the upcoming World Cup as well as the just concluded Mzansi series. Well, that's all we have for you from the sports desk. It is good evening.
You're watching Sunset News. Let's take a look at the highlights from today's broadcast. Walvis Bay took a significant step in bolstering the safety of its community members with the inauguration of the newly constructed Tutaleni police station. With the hope of empowering farmers to make sure their production is not wasted, the World Food Programme partnered with the University of Namibia to train rural farmers with skills to engage in income-generating activities by adding value to readily available local natural resources. Now, Namibia's under-16 rugby national team was captured ahead of their departure to the Grand Como Week, set to take place from the 25th to the 30th of June. It will be held at Landboskol Boland in Paarl, South Africa. The competition will see 23 athletes take part. And with that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. Make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook, on all the animate platforms on weekdays, as well as on our website, oneuptwo.com. Sunset News screens on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 25 every weekday from 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. I am Glenora Shipura, and this has been Sunset News. Don't end your day without us.